Hey everybody, my name is Ben and I'm a certified professional dog trainer in Pensacola, Florida that specializes in aggression and anxiety cases. And while I'm a dog lover, I'm an animal lover of all types, and I have been ever since I was a small child. And not only do I love modern animals, but I also really like dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures. And you may have seen some headlines recently from Colossal, a bioengineering company, both with their efforts to bring back the woolly mammoth, but recently they've announced that they've brought back supposedly 3 direwolves. Now, while the science on that is kind of iffy, I'm going to leave the details of that to more qualified science communicators and paleontologists and the like. I am a canine communicator, I'm not a science communicator, but I do want to stop and talk about the implications of it. Whether or not these are actually dire wolves is unlikely for a variety of reasons. Dire wolves share a common ancestor with, gray wolves, but they, to my knowledge, they didn't occupy the same ecological niches, which could change their behavior. They're definitely a different size, different structure, that type of thing. But the science is interesting because it does have some implications for our species as a whole, but I like to think that it has some interesting implications for the dog world. There's a lot of diseases in dogs, such as cancer, other diseases that are specific to dogs themselves that we don't experience and we can't do much about. We do require things like monthly prevention and those types of things. What if we could biologically engineer or genetically engineer a way so we didn't have to give our dogs a monthly heartworm pill? These types of things that factor into general dog care. It also has some interesting implications for what I would think from a behavior point of view specifically. Situations where we can't just identify exactly what is causing an aggressive behavior out of a dog. As a positive reinforcement only trainer, one of the things I hear is that I would rather euthanize an aggressive dog than use punishment, and that's not true. I feel like if we have to use punishment all the time, though, we have to constantly use a shock collar, if we're constantly having to muzzle a dog, whatever, if the dog is just not safe to be around that much, then we have to have a quality of life conversation. If you only exist safely under the threat of some kind of force or punishment, what kind of life are you really living? What if we could provide some kind of genetic alteration to change that dog's behavior for the positive, right? What if we could, give a pill or identify a gene that says your dog is likely to experience heightened cases of aggression, and by doing this we can fix it. Will we ever get to that point? I don't know. I would love it if we did. But sorry if you hear a noise in the background. The guys are wrestling, and one sec. Kristoff, leave it. Come on. There you go. Brothers, right? Anyways. So while it's doubtful that these are direwolves, while it's doubtful that these are ever going to see the wild, or we're ever going to see a Pleistocene megafauna, and I would love to, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see dire wolves and smilodons and woolly mammoths, and I think giant sloths would be cool. While I'd love to see all of that, while I totally support the efforts of what the scientists say they're doing, in reality, what this could do is this could open other doors to ways to help animals that are already here. And I think that's an important thing to hold on to. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to my little rant. And see you next time.